welcome along to our first session here on Full-Time. Want to send a shout out going out to our sponsors. Race Greg Motors, of course, they are down there on Grey Street. They'd like to send a shout out, of course, to everybody out there listening in. So we send a big kia ora going out first of all to Walker, who joins us this morning. Morning, bro.
Yeah, good morning, Keithy. Beautiful day here in G-Town. A little bit cool in the morning, but it's expected. We are heading into winter, and no doubt JT will be nice and making it hot over there in the land of Oz. But no, a very good morning to the boys.
Indeed it is. Also joining us this time from Invercargill, we've got with us our man, Rino Wilkinson. Morning, bro.
Yeah, morena, boys. Coming to you live from Invercargill on a bit of a southern travel around, checking out the rest of the Motu and enjoyed myself so far. Yeah, like you say, live from Invercargill, blue skies down here, and looking forward to trying some of the famous bluff oysters later on today.
Excellent stuff. Also joining us from across the ditch over there in Aussie, we've got our man JT, Jason Tawhiwhirangi. Morning, bro.
Yeah, morning, boys. And just thought to make mention of what Ra Walker said. I've got a couple of my daughter's friends over, young Walter Carmichael and Paige Sweeney, fresh out of Gisborne. They arrived yesterday and they were in the pool last night while the rest of us were sitting around going, you're crazy. It's not that well, not more. And speaking of travels, boys, I'd just like to make mention of all those whānau that are over in Italy at the moment, commemorating the 75th anniversary of Māori Battalion's assault on Monte Cassino. I've seen pictures from Tawhiwhirangi, Peter Cross and various others. They've been to the big urupa below the mountain. They've been to the monastery atop Mount Cassino. And this morning, early dawn service for the assault that occurred at the railway station in Monte Cassino, one of the biggest hits that the Māori Battalion took in their world-famous campaign over there to try and liberate Italy. So a big ngā mihi aroa ki a koutou I tērā wāhi.
And you know, because I've sort of been keeping up with what they've been doing over there, in particular through Te Hamua, and I tell you what, it looks really good, doesn't it, JT?
Yeah, mate, it's fascinating. It's one of those, I've always been a bit of a war historian. I always think it would have been an adventure if we were born around that time, boys,
yes.
To head over there with your mates and really into the great unknown, not really knowing what was ahead of them. And I think a lot of them might have been a bit naive in their thinking towards what was going to happen over there. And it's just a waste of a generation, an unfulfilled legacy that those young men never got to be, fathers and grandfathers and left behind wives and particularly mothers. I think a lot of them, I've seen pictures of mothers crying and bawling their eyes out as the boys were either leaving on the ship or leaving on the trains to head to Palmerston North. And, mate, I'm really excited because in a couple of months, my wife and I will be there ourselves. It would be nice to be there now, but the serenity of being there on our own will be just as good. Indeed.
True. Okay. That's pretty awesome. Obviously, you're looking forward to that little trip yourself there, JT?
Yeah, 100%. I've always been a big fan of Italian food. I've got the girth to prove that. So the experience of authentic stuff over there will be fantastic. I've got a couple of relations that live in Napoli, so I'll be able to stay with them for a couple of nights and have a look around. But yeah, looking forward to getting over there and just wish all those travels and a safe return home.
Cool. Well, let's get started on the NRL. We'll start off with your team there, JT. Of course, the Storm West Tigers. Man, that was a close one, eh?
Yeah, look, the Tigers troubled us twice last year on Billy Slater's 300th game. They beat us in round 2, and they beat us again in round 4 in the doubleheader at Auckland, and that was Craig Bellamy's 400th game. So they seem to know how to unpick the Melbourne Storm lock, and they almost did it again on Thursday night. Look, people will say that we were lucky, and I'll definitely agree to that. And some people are saying the referees made a few blunders, and I reckon they did, but they certainly made blunders in both directions. Ugly win, boys, but 2 points is 2 points. It's in the bank. We'll move on.
On your travels around the Motu there, Reno, did you catch any of that game?
Yeah, saw a bit of that, and felt sorry for the Tigers. Again, the get out of jail card, say I use that pun again, the Storm have done it. Some of the games are recent because one prior to that was a hell of a hiding up against the Eels. They just gave it to them. But, another jail card they've got to use there, and the Storm carries on their way, and like JT said, it's another 2 points, and just got to move on to your next one. Feel sorry for the Tigers, but it's just the way it goes.
I guess so. Was certainly a very close game right to the end, and unlucky in parts. I guess it was very different in last night's game, though, Reno?
Yeah, it was. Hey, just talking on that, Storm, too, just want to talk about the young fella for Nukin. If you go on his Instagram page, he's a talented musician. He's got a lovely music clip there where he's doing a bit of a beats to his music, playing the guitar. And I tell you what, if there's a future for this young fella who could be playing for the Blues in State of Origin in a few weeks, music, very, very talented. Okay. So make sure you check out his Instagram page. You'll see the video, well worth it. But yeah, last night, mate, the Warriors, another good win, a real exciting win, because this Penrith team haven't gone that well this season under Ivan Cleary, and it's still not going too well. And even though they got 10 points at the end, the Warriors be happy with the win. It's just one of those teams I think we would have spoken about before. The bottom team would have toppled over the Warriors. But I don't know where the Warriors pulled this one out of the bag. Whether it was the return of Isaac Luke, who had a pretty good game, by Cody Nikorima at 6. But overall kicking for the goals was all good. And Warriors, as I say, 2 points. And they'll be happy with that. Won't see Stephen Kearney swearing in the box up there.
What do you reckon of that game there, JT?
Look, I think Penrith, they're in all sorts of stuff. To call them ordinary would be a compliment. They were rubbish.
Exactly. I agree.
And mate, and just as much as they were rubbish, I thought the Warriors were good. The Warriors played well last night, and their first back-to-back wins for the season, and maybe they could use it as a launch pad to advance up the ladder a little bit more. But it remains to be seen. They've got a tough one next week at home against the Broncos. But mate, Penrith, they're in all sorts of stuff. I think Gus Gould might have seen their writing on the wall a month or so ago when he decided to bail. So I'm just watching the highlights on the TV now, and there's showing the replay of Dylan Whiting and Zalesniak and Dylan Edwards colliding with each other. And mate, I don't know what's going on with Penrith, but
no.
Do you care? No. I don't care. Do you care? No. Reno, do you care? No, probably
No.
not.
I don't, mate. Everyone thought the Warriors are having a lot of turmoil with the way they're going over, and all the fans here in Aotearoa. But that Penrith team, you're right. I don't know what's wrong. I don't know if Ivan's got to go or what they got to do, turn the team upside down and flip it upside down. They might as well sign Israel Folau. He's got to go somewhere.
I'll tell you what, though, if you listen closely enough, you can hear Anthony Griffith laughing in the background.
I agree. Now, I thought the Penrith Panthers were just absolute rubbish. I completely agree with you, JT. They were just absolutely rubbish. I think the last try that the Warriors scored, where the prop ran from he got it about 12 metres out, and they still couldn't take him to ground. That is just terrible defence. I mean, their defence probably was rubbish all day, though, wasn't it, AJT?
Yeah, I think the try you're talking about is the one scored by Ignatius Parsi, the big front row, ex-Gold Titans, ex-Keeper Parkboy, and he just carried, a couple of them over the line, and a couple of other Penrith defenders stood there watching. I think, geez, there's something something in the water over there if you're not backing up your team.
No, that's right. That was just terrible. Couldn't believe it. I just couldn't believe it that he was able to run that far and get across. I was staggered, quite frankly.
And after a couple of beers overnight, it would have been from 12 metres. I ran from half.
True. But still, great to see your Warriors get some points on the board, though, eh?
Well, you're not wrong there, Keithy, and for many of the fans, still trying to keep their proverbial faith alive. We'll take anything we can get. As we know, the Warriors, I can't explain them. I don't think anybody can, as of the last few seasons, even more so this year. But I don't know, we keep sort of hanging in there and hoping, for the best. It's like week in, week out. Even I'm locked for usually I can make some assumptions, some predictions, but under Kearney, I just think it's a free for all. I just think some of those players. Well, look, I'm just rehashing comments that it's always been said the last few seasons. I mean, what can you? I could lie through my teeth and say, oh, blah blah blah, but once again, this is the Warriors we're talking about, and I don't know, you really got to be a man of faith to keep belief in them, and hope that they can do something out of the season.
I thought you were a man of faith, believing in them.
Well, I think Brian Tamaki might disagree, but I'm definitely a man of faith when it comes to the Warriors. I mean, what else is there? I could support my other teams that I enjoy watching, the Storm or the Broncos. I've always loved them, if not for them being Aussie clubs. But no, I'm still in there, Keithy. Hopefully our boys from Auckland, they can secure a few more wins and, let fate take its course.
Talking about the Broncos, was that a bit of a surprise? Because it was a surprise to me that they won last night there, JT.
Yeah, of the four clubs that played last night, the Panthers and the Warriors obviously in recent times have been just a lot of negative. And the Broncos have had their fair share as well. Their coaches have been critical for, dropping players or playing players out of position or just not being a good enough coach. And not many expected that one to happen last night, but right from the kickoff, I think the Broncos showed a lot of positive energy and they were right in the hunt there. And I said to my son, mate, if they can, maintain that level of intensity right to the end, I reckon they'll win this. And yeah, sure enough, they got under the Roosters' skins. I think Big Payne Haas ran for a couple of 100 metres last night, and he was backed up by Tawhiwhirangi Jr. and a couple of others around that ruck area. And Anthony Milford, I've been a big critic of his lately, but he's a different player when his forwards go forward for him, and he played well. A good win, and a good win for the not only for the Broncos but for the competition as well. The Roosters looked like they were getting away with it there, but they sort of back to the peloton, and good job, because I hate the Roosters.
Well, what do you reckon there, Rino?
Yeah, good win, mate. I think the Roosters last week kind of showed an indicator they weren't going that well over the last few weeks. A couple of just wins there, and a team was going to topple them over, and people would have talked, well, the Broncos, this is it. Can they do it? Haven't been going that well, and well, they proved it last night and got there in the end. They'll be savouring that win, and any win over the Roosters are running hot is a good win. Likewise, with the Tigers, if they had beaten the Storm. Anything's possible. It just tells you some of these teams right at the top, any teams down below in this whole competition throughout the season, when they want to step up, will step up. And we nearly saw the Tigers do that Thursday night. Last night we saw the Broncos. So who knows? The Broncos will be coming to Auckland obviously next weekend. Heads held high after that win over the Roosters. That will make it tougher for the Warriors at home, who of recent haven't really played that well at home. So, even though the Warriors had a good win against the Penny Panthers last night, Broncos deserve their win. It's going to be a big game. Always a big crowd too. Turn up to Mount Smart next weekend. Massive Warriors, massive Broncos fan here in the country. Yeah, heaps of them. So it'll be a big day. But a good win for the Broncos. Bag that 2 points in the bag.
Absolutely. So how do you reckon they'll go next week, though? The Warriors. I'm picking the Warriors because I picked them before. Well, actually, I knew that the Broncos were going to be struggling. Because they have been having a bit of a struggle this season, and I actually thought the Broncos might be able to beat the Warriors in next week's game. So what do you reckon there, Rino?
Yeah, I know it's going to be interesting. I think Kearney will stick with the same team. Be interesting for one Cody Nikodima, obviously. He's going to focus. He might be able to give the upper hand on how the team structures itself. He's been there for a little while. It'll be interesting if the players step up to the mark like they did last week. And if they bring the defence pattern like they did against the Storm, they should win it. But remember, like Barra says, this is the Warriors we're talking about. We just don't know what's going to turn up week in and week out. I'll tell you what, I'm going to put my head on the chopping block and I'll go the Warriors.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Now, what's interesting...
Some of the players might be out with state of origin, see?
Right. What's interesting is how it's going to shape up. Certainly because the Warriors also got the Storm after they play the Broncos, don't they? So that should be an interesting clash there, Reno?
Yeah, it will be. This is that time where these 2 points are vital, especially with State of O and everything coming up. So we'll see where players are going to be venturing out into their state teams. So I don't know. It's a couple more weeks yet. It's early June, the first game, but we'll see, mate. We'll see what happens. We'll just take one game.